Guys, the craziest thing just happened. When you are a victim of actual gang stalking, you're gonna find yourself in a situation where people are gonna do really weird things to make you doubt what you see, what you hear, what you feel. Gang stalking is in a bombardment of cognitive dissonance, where a lot of things are thrown at you that don't make sense. This results in you doubting your eyes. And something happened to me today that is fitting into the narrative. If you do not know what gang stalking is the active intent of people trying to make you believe things that will paint you as a paranoid schizophrenic in front of everyone else. It makes victims of gang stalking believe that the government is attacking them with directed energy weapons, that their thoughts are being monitored, that they are constantly under surveillance by a lot of people. It's literally a group of people trying to convince someone doing as many crazy things as possible in order to actively make them say to the rest of the world that they are being harassed by the government. But look, I'm telling you that they are tricks because they are. And in fact, one of these tricks was just done to me today. What I'm about to tell you is a little crazy, but bear with me. So, look, I'm gonna copy and paste this so that the font is bigger. This email was sent to me yesterday, and it was actually sent to me at another time. I still don't understand why the sending time is different. But look, this is what I'm telling you that it got kind of real crazy. So, look, this is what it says. It says the following. Hey there, friend. I came across your videos during a time in my life where I felt suspicious about gang stalking because I felt that I always try my best in life for it not to end in a spiral, and yet my nervous system is always in a fight or flight mode. And I make decisions where I felt like I was not conscious in making it after it has happened. I read a lot about gang stalking and collected a moment in my life and input it towards my memory where I felt like this was obvious evidence that this was gang stalking from all of the information I have read online about it. I read all types of iterations about gang stalking, whether it be the spiritual sense or the literal perspective of gang stalking being done by the government using high tech that is not disclosed to the public yet. Gang stalking research used to be a small part of my life, but now it's grown to be almost the main narrative of my life, and I had to pause my life for this. Out of other channels that I've watched about gang stalking, I found your channel to be the one of the most informational and also programmed topic about this case. Finding out whether or not I'm being gang stalked and how and why I'm being gang stalked and what measures to take for me to protect myself and not fall into temptation is vital for me to choose the next decision of my life. I would love to have a conversation and have an honest verdict from you about this topic, and I feel that it would help me a lot in my life. I'm wondering if I would be able to consult gang stalking with you. And look, this is what I replied. So here is the email that I replied. And I replied this. Hey there, thank you for your support and your viewership. We could have a conversation over the phone or FaceTime if you prefer. Sent from my iPhone. And then he said, I am in Indonesia, WIBUT 7 plus. So it will be at least 15 hours time difference. I have WhatsApp too. Let me get your number so I can add you. Look, as of now, everything seems fine, right? But what you don't see here is that yesterday I received an email from this same email address and I double checked that said that this person was in California. It said I am in Cali in another email. And look, I didn't screenshot it. I should have. And you guys know that I screenshot everything, but I didn't screenshot it. I didn't screenshot it. I should have because it was an inconsistency. And look, there was a point where I had the two emails. There was one that said I'm in California, and then I had the other one that said I'm in Indonesia. I didn't screenshot it. I didn't think I would have to because it's my email. I would have never guessed that a freaking email would disappear. But guess what? I cannot find that email that I saw yesterday. I can't. I don't know. I don't know. And look, so immediately after I got that email, I told this person, watch, it's right here on this screen. It was this one. I put, why do you send an email saying that you're in Indonesia and another one saying that you're in Cali? Which I received. And look, I have no reason to lie to you. I have zero reason to lie to you. Why would I make that up? So then to that message, this guy replied. He wrote this. I genuinely did not. I only sent one email. Maybe it's the gang stalkers. So gang stalkers will do things like this all of the time. They will do things that imply a lot of things. For example, by the fact that I couldn't find my email, the email that he sent, and look, and I even looked on my trash bin, but look, I was also, no, I know I didn't delete it. Like, I know I didn't delete it. But the email is not on the freaking screen. And in gang stalking, there's going to be a lot of things like that that are going to happen, a bunch of tricks. And look, the email seemed very genuine. And if it wasn't for those two inconsistencies, I would have had the actual conversation. And look, this was my thought process. I thought this person is a gang stalker because he's saying that he's in California and then he said he's in Indonesia. Like, that's weird. No one would say two different places. You know what I mean? And look, I double checked to make sure that the email was from the same person, and I read it like 5 times to make sure it is what I saw, what I read. And this is actually making me question a couple of things. Do gang stalkers actually have access to my email? Like, can they do that? But look, from the experience that I had about gang stalkers having access to my car, and then gang stalkers actually accessing a freaking Bluetooth signal, and actually having gang stalkers tell me what I was looking at on my phone, all of these experiences imply that gang stalkers can do a lot of the things that are said. You know what I mean? So I know what I saw. And look, this is what you have to understand about gang stalking is that it's literally a bunch of people doing a bunch of little things here and there for you to think over and to snap into the narrative. It's literally a group effort of people that do things in order to make you believe the whole directed energy weapon narrative. And look, I know what I saw, and you guys know that whenever I have evidence of anything, I put this in the video. I'm just freaking dying right now that I don't have the screenshot to show you the two emails by this person. But look, that's as bad as it gets. You're gonna have gang stalkers trying to make you paranoid by doing tricks like this, and I had the email there. I just didn't screenshot it. Next time anything like this happens, I am gonna screenshot everything. But notice that these things don't happen really frequent. Like the last incident, like technology based, was when I talked about someone describing to me what I had on my screen on my cell phone. Gang stalking is a game where a bunch of people are gonna mess with you. That is exactly why it's so important for you to not do anything that can distort your perception of reality. Because gang stalking itself depends on that. You have to make sure that you are sober and that you are not engaging with anyone that makes you feel unsafe or anyone that is behaving weirdly. So, what I'm gonna do, or well, actually, let me just show you. What I did is I messaged this person and I told this person, don't message me, hang on, don't message me ever again. And this is the crazy thing about gang stalking is that gang stalkers will do things to make you doubt your sanity. But look, when I saw that email, I read it like 5 times. I checked the sender. I read the whole thing like 5 times, and I confirmed it. I confirmed it. I confirmed what I saw. However, the freaking email is not here anymore. And look, I do want to kick myself on the butt for not screenshotting it, but I absolutely should have. So during my 8 years of gang stalking, gang stalkers have done a bunch of tricks like this, a bunch of tricks, and they work in tandem with the directed energy weapon narrative. But look, this is what you have to understand is that gang stalkers are gonna create evidence in your mind that they can do all of these things. And look, if I would have been like scared of gang stalking, I would be like, oh my god, they can check my email. Oh my god, they can look through my camera. Oh my god, they can do this. But look, that's gang stalking. Like gang stalkers will do a bunch of things to mess with you, to make you believe all of those things. which is exactly why it's so important for you to understand this. They are only tricks. And look, scammers can do all of these things. If you are a target, you have to understand you're going to have a bunch of people do crazy things like this. But that doesn't mean that there's someone always watching you, that there's someone always checking your freaking email. Gang stalkers will do these things to mess with you. That's actual gang stalking. But look, I know what I saw, I know what I read, and I have screenshotted a bunch of other things that have happened. So I know that what I saw is true, and I am not gonna question my mind ever again, or my intuition, because my mind and my intuition have always been right, except when it was messed with. The truth is that what I should have done when I saw those two emails, one that said I'm from Indonesia and the other one that said I'm from California, I should have just blocked that person and not even replied. And right at the first inconsistency, if you are a victim of gang stalking, you have to stop talking to that person because they're gonna do things to mess with you. So any inconsistency, if you are a targeted individual, is your evidence of gang stalking. And when that happens, you simply disable that person from communicating with you. So look, is it possible that it had that what I saw had to do with gang stalking? Yeah. Like, but look, in gang stalking, this is nothing new. Victims of gang stalking will pretend to be, I mean, gang stalkers will pretend to be victims of gang stalking. And they're going to play along into the gang stalking narrative, which is exactly why I recommend that if anyone ever feeds into the gang stalking narrative in order to push onto you these weird narratives about gang stalking and gang stalkers having the ability to hack you and all of those people, you ban them. So like the fact that I got these two messages from the same person, and then this person said, I genuinely did not, I only sent one email. Maybe it's the gang stalkers. And look, that in itself, that is my sign to block the contact. And look, I already blocked them. You cannot hang out with or talk to anyone that is involved in any way, shape, or form with anything that messes with your trust in your mind in what you see. Like you can't. If you are being gang stalked, anyone that is pushing that narrative onto you, you have to get rid of them. And look, is it possible that this person didn't send that email? No, because I checked the email address and it came from the same email. I triple checked it. And look, gang stalking does this thing where you might start mistrusting your mind, but look, or your intuition. But notice that everything that gang stalkers do is are things that make you doubt your intuition. And look, this made me doubt my intuition for 1 minute. But from all my 8 years of experience, I know that is a trick. It's gonna have no impact on my life, and the resolution is for me to block this person and not talk to them anymore ever again. Because look, I as a victim of gang stalking have to have my mental health first and foremost before anything else or anyone else. So I have to stop talking to this person because this person is making me doubt my intuition. Whether or not this person sent it, it's none of my business. But what I do know is that I'm not going to waste my time with someone that is making that even slightly worsens my gang stalking experience. I can't. Because for the 8 years of my gang stalking experience, I didn't. And the experience in gang stalking itself has taught me this to block anyone that perpetuates the gang stalking narrative, whether or not it's their fault. Like, I can't worry about them anymore. You know what I mean? And look, that might sound selfish, but look, there's a lot of information about gang stalking in my channel. Like, I don't need to do any consultations, even though I will, but this one was just really fishy. So I cannot risk it, and I won't. And that's the one thing that I have learned is not associating with anyone that has anything to do with me not trusting my intuition, because your trust in your intuition is the one thing that is always going to be there for you. And when your intuition tells you something, when you know that something is off, you listen to it and then you stop talking to anyone that is associated with that experience. As simple as that. So in the end, could it not be the fault of this person about an email? There's a possibility, yeah, but that's not my problem. So I'm not gonna worry about that. But what, from my perspective, I got two emails from this person. One that said that this person was from Indonesia, and another one saying that this person was from California. And guess what? That first problem, that's a big red flag for me. Huge red flag. Aside from his last name being Bill Gates, like you can see it here, I highlighted it on the screen. His screen name, his it's Bill Gates. It's right here, Bill Gates. So I don't accept, and I won't ever accept for the rest of my life, anyone that has to do with any event that will lead me to doubt my intuition. The answer is always going to say be no, and I'm not going to talk to that person ever again. That's it. And that is the approach that you have to take to gang stalking, because gang stalkers are they do a bunch of tricks, and you're never going to know what trick, and you're never going to know when. All right. Thank you so much for watching. If you do not know who I am, hello, my name is Efren Rodriguez Guerrero, and I have been a victim of gang stalking for 8 years. And gang stalking is pretty much a bunch of people trying to drive me crazy by doing a bunch of weird shit. And in this channel, I share my experience. I tried to gather as much evidence as possible, but I failed you guys today because I didn't screenshot it. So my bad. But you guys know that I always screenshot everything. It just slipped. I had no idea that anyone was gonna be able to go into my email account and erase that message or somehow retrieve it, somehow pull it back. But gang stalkers have done a bunch of crazy things, so this is no surprise. But look, am I worried that gang stalkers are gonna see all of the things on my email? No. The truth is that I don't care. And even if I did, they can't do anything with it, because what are they gonna do? It's literally just a bunch of haters. They cannot publicly come out with any information they have gathered from me, because by doing that, they would confirm gang stalking. They literally would. And look, I know that these people probably have like a lot of videos that I have sent, screenshots of text messages, and things that they have done, said in order to pin me in the worst light possible. But look, I didn't know I was being gang stalked, and those events happened because I was being gang stalked. And look, that's exactly the reason that I have this channel, to tell you that gang stalkers are gonna actively push you into making choices to put you in a bad light, and then they're gonna document those choices, and then they're gonna use all of that evidence that they have themselves produced to make you appear in a bad light, to turn people against you. That's how gang stalking works. These people will manipulate you into making wrong choices, and then they're gonna gather a bunch of evidence of all of these bad choices, and then guess what? That's what they're gonna use to paint you in a bad light in order to turn people against you. Which is why, if you believe that you're being gang stalked, you have to understand this. Gang stalking is a bunch of people trying to manipulate you to destroy yourself. The show to these people is watch you go insane. So anything or anyone that makes you doubt your intuition, you get rid of them, because there's going to be so many. And you have to take this same approach. You have to take the same approach that I'm taking right now, because it's the only thing that you're going to be able to do to stay out of it, of the loop. All right? So if you would like to show your support to the channel, please consider subscribing, dropping a like, dropping a comment, sharing on your social media. Or if you would like to go above and beyond it and showing your support, please consider becoming a member to the channel. Less than $5 a month, or you can also show your support by sending a donation to my PayPal. There's a link to it in the description of the channel. Any amount helps, $1, $2, it doesn't matter. I really, really appreciate your support. All right, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you later. Bye.